Nobody saw it coming. Not the coaches. Not the analysts. Not even the players standing on that court, feeling the ground shift beneath their feet in real time. One moment they were untouchable. The next, everything they built came crashing down in front of millions of eyes. This is the story of a collapse so sudden, so brutal, that people are still talking about it today. Welcome back to HoopNexis, the channel where we break down the moments that define basketball history, the highs, the lows, and everything that makes the sport impossible to look away from. If you love raw, honest breakdowns of the game, make sure you are subscribed, because today's story is one of the wildest we have ever covered. Every sport has its legends. Every sport has its heroes. But every so often, a story comes along that flips the script entirely. A story about a fall, not a rise. This is one of those stories. A team, a group of players, built something that looked untouchable. They had the record. They had the chemistry. They had the confidence of an entire fan base behind them. And then, almost overnight, it all fell apart. Let's rewind a little. Every collapse has a beginning, and this one started with success, real, tangible success. The kind that makes fans believe their team can do no wrong. Wins were piling up. Confidence was sky high. Commentators were already talking championship talk. Players were being interviewed with smiles on their faces, talking about legacy, about history, about what they were building together. Felt like nothing could touch them. But here is the thing about momentum in sports. It is fragile. It looks solid from the outside, like a wall of steel, but underneath there are always cracks. Small ones. Ones that nobody pays attention to until it is too late. Maybe it was a nagging injury that never got the rest it needed. Maybe it was a locker room tension that got brushed under the rug because the wins kept coming. Maybe it was simply the pressure of expectation, quietly building with every passing game, waiting for the moment it would all come crashing down. And then that moment arrived. Started small. A game that should have been an easy win turned into a nail-biter. Fans brushed it off. Everyone has an off night, right? But then it happened again. And again. What started as a minor stumble turned into a pattern, and patterns in sports are dangerous because they feed on themselves. Losing breeds doubt. Doubt breeds hesitation. Hesitation on the court is the fastest way to turn a talented team into a group of individuals second-guessing every decision they make. You could see it happening in real time if you watched closely enough. Passes that used to be crisp started arriving a half-second too late. Shots that used to fall with total confidence started clanging off the rim. Defensive rotations that used to be automatic started breaking down, leaving wide-open looks for the opposing team. It wasn't that the talent disappeared. The talent was always there. What disappeared was the belief, the invisible thread that held everything together. And once belief starts to crack, everything else follows. Body language on the court told the whole story. Shoulders slumped. Heads dropped after mistakes. Players stopped talking to each other during timeouts, staring instead at the floor, lost in their own thoughts. The chemistry that had been the foundation of everything they built started to dissolve, game by game, possession by possession. The coaching staff tried everything. Timeouts to break the momentum. Lineup changes to spark new energy. Fiery speeches in the locker room meant to remind players who they were and what they had already accomplished. For a game or two it would work. A spark of the old magic would return. Just enough to make everyone believe the turnaround was here. And then, just as quickly, it would vanish again like it was never really there at all. Fans watched in disbelief. Social media exploded with theories. Was it an injury nobody was talking about? Was it internal conflict? Was it simply the weight of pressure finally catching up to a team that had never faced real adversity before? Everyone had an opinion, and nobody had the full picture because the truth about collapses like this is rarely simple. It is never just one thing. It is a combination of small failures compounding on top of each other until the entire structure gives way. What made this collapse so shocking wasn't just that it happened. It was how fast it happened. Teams are supposed to decline gradually. They are supposed to show warning signs for months before the fall actually arrives. But this wasn't gradual. This was a sprint downhill, an avalanche that started with a single pebble and turned into something that buried an entire season in a matter of weeks. The turning point, the moment everyone points back to when they tell the story, was a single game that should have been a formality. A game they were expected to win comfortably. Instead, it became the moment everything unraveled completely. A late lead evaporated in minutes. Defensive breakdowns that had no business happening at that level of competition. Missed free throws in crunch time that would have sealed the win in any other circumstance. And when the final buzzer sounded, there was a silence in that arena that told the whole story better than any post-game interview ever could. After that game, something shifted. It wasn't just about basketball anymore. It became about mentality, about identity, about a group of players trying to figure out who they even were after watching everything they built crumble in real time. Some players spoke to the media, offering the usual lines about resilience and bouncing back. But you could see it in their eyes. The confidence that had defined them for months was gone, replaced by something heavier, something harder to shake off. This is the part of sports that people often forget. Behind every collapse is a group of human beings carrying the weight of public expectation on their shoulders. It is easy to sit back and criticize, to call out mistakes, to demand answers. But the players living through it are dealing with something far more personal, the sudden and painful realization that greatness is never guaranteed, no matter how good things once looked. Looking back now, analysts still debate what exactly caused the fall. Some blame fatigue from an unsustainable pace early in the year. Others point to a lack of adjustments from the coaching staff once opponents figured out how to exploit weaknesses that had been hidden by early success. And some simply believe that this is what happens when a team gets too comfortable, too confident, too convinced that their early form would carry them all the way through. Whatever the true cause, one thing is certain. This collapse will be remembered